Hey, welcome back to the last and final episode of the Calamity Guide. This will be the shortest one, and I'm very excited to get this out. To those who joined the premiere, hello to you as well. I'll keep this intro short and just get started. Here we go. The first thing you should do right after the Moonlord fight is three things. Luminite bars, Galactica singularities, and life alloy. These can make great upgrades to armor, weapons, and accessories that will massively help in kickstarting this phase of the game. You should also stop by the Hallowed biome for some unholy essences that you can use for some nice upgrades. The Profane Guardians, which you should kill as soon as possible, and a few knickknacks that can put you where you need to be for the first real boss. You could do Dragon Folly first, but I like to do Providence first. My advice, don't even bother with the green shiny things to heal in that bullet hell phase, just focus on dodging. Teleport past the death rays as they close in on you. If you can't, try and dodge or use the invincibility frames to get past them. Teleporting is obviously the most preferable option. Focus on killing the chicken balls as fast as you can do when they respawn, so try and be as coordinated as possible. After killing the boss, you get to mine some new ore in the underground jungle called Eulabloom ore. I probably butchered that. You can use this for the next tier of armor and also for the next few weapons that can help you through the next mini-boss bit of the game. After this, I usually take out Dragon Folly. It's quite easy now, you should take it out before Providence, but I usually do it after. Killing the boss gives you some nice upgrades for the Sentinels, the next mini-bosses in the game. Then I work on taking out the Sentinels, as I just mentioned, with the Stormweaver being first, the Ceaseless Void being second, and Cygnus being the third. For the Weaver, definitely use homing on its tail for the first phase, then piercing or area of effect on the second phase. For the Ceaseless Void, I recommend using something that pierces and is homing. This basically locks the energy balls in place as you tear them apart. I recommend something like the Nuclear Fury, it's great for this job. And for Cygnus, just do a lot of damage as fast as you can and keep moving. That's pretty much all there is to it. Next up is Poltergeist, and I had a bit of trouble with this one. I recommend focusing on circling with a large open area whilst using a high single target DPS weapon. Also, when he spawns the duplicate that you cannot kill, try and keep them in the same place. Their movement's slightly different, but this does make it a lot easier to manage the dodging. Afterwards, you can make your final preparations before the Devourer of Gods. Yeah, I usually take him out before Old Duke. The Old Duke doesn't really drop much that helps with the Devourer of Gods, but you should still kill it at some point. Also, the Acid Rain event is really annoying without post-Devourer of Gods gear. Some tips to help fighting with the Devourer of Gods are, keep going in one direction as fast as possible. In the blue phase, focus on the head. Don't worry about piercing or area of effect as tempting as it might be. But in the pink phase, throw all that to the wind and use piercing and keep him in a straight line, similar to Astrum Deus as I said in part 2. With the laser phase, if you don't need to jump, don't. If you need to, and you don't want to, teleporting is a good alternative, or if you are for some reason still using the counter scarf, you can do that as well. Also ignore the other small worms he spawns, they all usually die off screen. Once you kill the Cosmic Worm, you get Cosmolite, which on its own doesn't do much, but you also get access to upgraded Frost and Pumpkin Moon events, which give you new materials that combine with the bars to make much better gear, including my personal favorite armor set, Godslayer. Also now, if you want, you can stomp Old Duke. It should be a bit easier now. Just keep your distance, do a lot of damage, time your movements, the usual stuff, and also stay away from the vortexes. Also, now would be a good time to kill Providence and Hell if you wanted to get some extra upgrades after Devourer of Gods. One of the good ones is the Asgardian Aegis, which you need to kill Providence and Hell to make. And that's just a nice little thing for the next phase of the game. The end. Now it's time for the end of the game! Yeah, I told you Post Moonlord is shorter than the other two phases. Now you can get to create a Dragon Egg using some materials you should already have a lot of, and head to the jungle to fight Yaren. Now you won't actually kill him, he will just drop the bag, talks about some Dark Sun bullcrap, and just dip. What he meant is that you can now fight an upgraded solar eclipse, similar to the other moon events being buffed after Devourer of Gods. The Mothrons drop Dark Sun fragments, which help you make Silva armor, not to be confused with Silver armor, along with other great weapons that will help you actually kill Yaren. Now head back to the jungle and fight Yaren again. Now, after you almost kill him, he goes invincible for about 30 seconds, regenerates his health, and enters stage 2. He does attack in this phase, so you still want to focus on dodging. Now, you need to focus on moving a lot, and also damage him as much as possible. Going defense is kind of pointless at this stage of the game, so you might as well go full damage. This also applies to the final fight. Speaking of the final fight, we're almost there. After defeating the jungle dragon, a new ore should spawn, and the boss should drop Yaren soul fragments. Hold on to these. To mine the new ore, you will need a blossom pickaxe, which is made with Eulabloom ore. Luckily, the ore spawns in massive veins. Unluckily, the bars require a lot of materials to make, including the soul fragments I mentioned earlier. These bars, called auric bars, make up the last tier of gear you will need for the mod. Now for the final fight, Supreme Calamitous. This fight is no joke. It took me over 50 attempts to kill the damn thing, and that's almost 10 times as much as the hardest boss in the playthrough. This took a lot of trial and error, but I think I figured out a pretty good strategy. With the bullet hell phases, take it slow unless going fast is necessary, and it will eventually be. This fight is all about dodging and doing as much damage as possible. Defense is basically pointless since everything 3-shots you anyway. The blood orb things at the start and near the end use homing and piercing. Just use something with little precision and good multi-target damage. Even just homing alone is usually good enough as long as the DPS is high. For the homing explosion fire things, keep your distance. It will make much easier to dodge the fire after the explosion. She spawns the brothers, kill Cataclysm first, then leave Catastrophe alive. Catastrophe's attacks are pitifully easy to dodge, so as long as you don't kill them, you can regenerate your health and maybe even get adrenaline if you're lucky, as I do here. When she spawns in the massive orb face things, you should circle the arena to keep them on your tail. This will help prevent them from hitting you. And once you get Supreme Calamitous to 1% health, everything that isn't a projectile despawns, and Calamitous becomes invincible for about 10 seconds and does not attack you. Then you win the fight. It's such a relief to finally have this done. You can expect me to return to a more consistent upload schedule now that this project is finally complete, and good lord, I'm so happy to say that. It's been so long since I started, and I'm glad to finally get over the finish line. Thank you to all the people that joined me along the way, and also to those who put up with my complaining, especially about Supreme Calamitous. I also put a lot of effort into this, so liking and subscribing would make my day. I have a Discord as well, so I'd really appreciate it if you join the fun. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in Master Mode. Adios.